No one on Station Helix 47 ever admitted it out loud. But every corridor told the truth. When a human walked through, conversations died mid-sentence. Massive predators, creatures evolved to hunt in vacuum storms and rip armored prey apart, subtly shifted their stance. Claws retracted, spines lowered. Some pressed themselves closer to the walls, pretending to examine maintenance panels that hadn't needed checking in years. The human didn't notice. Or maybe she did, and simply didn't care. Her name was Iris Calder, civilian logistics analyst. No rank, no weapons, no visible augmentaciones. Just a data pad under one arm, hair tied back, and the relaxed posture of someone who had never once questioned whether she belonged. Security footage later confirmed something unsettling. Predators moved before Iris reached them. Not in panic, not in fear, in anticipation. The prey species had noticed first. They always did. The Nerlin dock clerks stopped standing in her path. The soft-boned Kesh medics instinctively positioned her at the center of group formations. Even the station AI quietly rerouted traffic to reduce congestion around her route, without being instructed. To the predators, this made no sense. Iris was small, soft, human, yet every instinct screamed the same warning. Do not challenge this one. Commander Vale watched from the observation deck as Iris crossed the central concourse. A Thraxian war veteran, 8 feet of plated muscle. Halted mid-stride when she passed. Didn't snarl, didn't assert dominance. Just waited. Vale felt a chill crawl up his spine. This wasn't fear behavior. It was recognition. And the worst part? Iris hadn't done anything yet. She hadn't raised her voice. She hadn't issued commands. She hadn't even looked at them. Something about her existence was rewriting the station's hierarchy. And Helix 47 was about to learn why. If you enjoy HFY Sci-Fi stories where humans quietly redefine power, consider subscribing for more. Give the video a like if this hooked you, and let me know in the comment what you think the station is sensing in her. The first to test the silence was Crothael of Varnak Alpha. Among predators, Crothael was legendary. Born on a gravity-crush world, veteran of 3 border wars. His species didn't yield space, they took it. Even other apex predators deferred to him out of habit, if not fear. So when Iris Calder stepped into Corridor D9 and Crothael didn't move aside, the station noticed. Security cameras adjusted focus. Heart rate monitors across multiple species spiked. Somewhere deep in the habitat ring, a prey species emergency alert quietly armed itself, then hesitated. Iris slowed, not because she was afraid, because something was in her way. She stopped a meter from Crothael and looked up, not sharply, not challengingly, just enough to acknowledge his presence. "Excuse me," she said, calm and polite. "You're blocking the conduit access." The corridor went utterly still. Crothael's instincts screamed at him to step back. Not retreat, not flee, just yield. His muscles locked. Every dominance reflex demanded he stand firm. But deeper, older, something else was whispering. This is not prey. His claws twitched. Iris waited. No tension in her stance. No readiness to strike. Just patience, like someone waiting for an elevator door to open. Finally, Crothael shifted one step to the side. One step. It was enough. Iris nodded in thanks and walked past him without another glance. Only after she was gone did Crothael realize his breathing was shallow and fast. His secondary heart hammered painfully. His tail, an involuntary tail among his kind, was tucked low. Across the station, predator behavior logs updated automatically. Anomaly confirmed. Submission response without aggression. Human subject, priority observation. The prey species exhaled collectively. They had seen this before, long ago, written into forgotten survival myths. When a creature doesn't need to assert dominance, it already owns the hierarchy. Commander Vale stared at the footage, unsettled, because Crothael hadn't lost the contest. He had recognized something, and whatever Iris Calder was, it wasn't just human. The prey species didn't panic. They prepared. While predators argued in private chambers and ran instinct diagnostics that returned useless results, the prey quietly adjusted their routines. Seating charts changed. Work groups reorganized themselves. Living quarters near Iris Calder's route filled faster than any other sector. Not because they wanted protection, because they recognized leadership gravity. The Nerelan elders convened a closed session. No predators were invited. No station authority notified. "She is not aggressive," one elder whispered, frills fluttering nervously. "That is the danger. She moves like a pack anchor," another replied. "Not a hunter, a center." Historical archives were consulted, records older than the station itself. Pre-contact mythologies. Survival heuristics passed down from extinction events. The same pattern surfaced again and again. When a species stops posturing, when predators yield without conflict, when the environment itself reorganizes around a single being, that being is not prey, not predator, is inevitable. Meanwhile, Iris sat in Logistics Bay 3, unaware she was the subject of interspecies councils. She sipped lukewarm tea and reviewed cargo discrepancies, brow slightly furrowed. A junior cache technician hovered nearby, fidgeting. "Ma'am," he asked softly. "Yes. You don't mind if I stand here, do you?" Iris glanced up, confused. "Of course not. Why would I?" The technician relaxed visibly. Two more prey species drifted closer, pretending to work. A moment later, even a predator-class sentry adjusted position, not to watch her, but to face outward. Defensive orientation. Iris didn't notice, but the station AI did. Pattern emerging. Multi-species grouping around human subject. Behavior consistent with pack formation. Commander Vale read the report twice. Humans weren't apex hunters. That much was known. But this wasn't predation. This was attraction. Alignment. The quiet gravity of something others instinctively wanted to orbit. Vale's datapad chimed again. Incoming alert. External transit deviation. Unauthorized. Something was approaching Helix 47. Fast. And Iris Calder was still finishing her tea. The warning came too late. An unregistered vessel tore out of subspace at the edge of Helix 47 sensor range. Hull scarred, drives unstable. No transponder. No response to hails. The station's defense grid spun up automatically, but hesitated. Not from malfunction. From uncertainty. The vessel wasn't attacking. It was running. Commander Vale leaned forward as sensor data flooded in. Life signs. Massive ones. Contained, barely. Something inside that ship was tearing its way through bulkheads, triggering emergency venting and partial hull collapse. A prison transport, and whatever it carried had broken loose. Predators across the station felt it instantly. A pressure. A biological signal older than language. Apex presence. Crothiel staggered slightly as the sensation hit him. His instincts flared. Not submission this time, but alarm. The kind reserved for extinction-level threats. Security alarms howled. Containment teams mobilized. And then, without orders, movement slowed. Because Iris Calder had stepped into the main concourse. She looked up as the station lights dimmed to emergency red. "Huh," she murmured. "That's not good." The approaching vessel lost structural integrity less than a kilometer out. Its hull ruptured, ejecting a massive shape into vacuum. Something that didn't die, didn't slow, didn't freeze. It latched onto the outer ring. Claws dug into reinforced plating like soft clay. The station shook. Prey species fled. Predators armed themselves, then froze. Because Iris wasn't running. She set her datapad down carefully on a bench, straightened her sleeves, and walked toward the airlock. Commander Vale shouted into the comm. "Civilian, stop. That is a Class Omega organism." Iris paused, thumbed her earpiece. "Oh, that explains the smell." Then she continued forward. The station went silent, not from fear, from anticipation, because something deep in every species aboard understood the truth at the same time. Whatever was coming was about to meet something worse. The airlock alarm screamed, as the outer hull deformed. Metal buckled inward. Reinforced plating folded like thin foil. The station's AI ran failure projections. Every outcome ended the same way. Catastrophic breach, mass casualties, loss of Helix 47. The organism forced its way inside. It was enormous. Too many limbs. Too many joints bending the wrong way. Its hide absorbed kinetic impacts, refracting energy shields like mist. This was not a creature meant to be fought. It was meant to be avoided. Security teams opened fire anyway. The creature didn't even flinch. Predators who had faced war zones felt something snap inside them. This wasn't dominance instinct. This was prey terror. Ancient, absolute. And then Iris stepped through the inner hatch. No suit, no weapon, just her. The creature's head snapped toward her the instant it sensed her presence. Its advance slowed. Its limbs hesitated mid-motion, claws scraping sparks from the deck. It recognized her. The predators noticed something strange then. The fear in the room wasn't coming from them anymore. It was coming from a thing. Iris stopped a few paces away. She tilted her head, studying it like a broken machine. "Oh," she said quietly. "You're not supposed to be here." The creature recoiled. Actually recoiled. Its massive frame pulled back, limbs curling inward defensively. A sound rippled from its core, low, subsonic. A distress call. Commander Vale's hand shook as he watched the feeds. "That's impossible," he whispered. The organism had wiped out entire outposts. It had never retreated, never hesitated. Iris took one more step forward. Every predator in the room dropped their weapons without realizing it. "You're lost," she said. Not angry, not loud, just certain. "And you know better than to push into occupied territory." The creature lowered itself. Fully. Apex submission posture. The station AI flagged the moment with a priority alert it had never issued before. Hierarchy override confirmed. Human subject recognized as supreme threat. Iris exhaled softly. "Good," she said. "Let's get you contained before someone gets hurt." And that was when everyone finally understood. The predators hadn't been making space for a human. They'd been making space for the top of the food chain. Containment took 6 minutes. Not because the organism resisted, but because Iris insisted on doing it carefully. She guided it back into a reinforced holding field using hand gestures and low, steady vocal tones, like calming a dangerous animal that trusted her more than its instincts. The creature obeyed. When the field sealed, the station didn't cheer. It exhaled. Predators avoided Iris's gaze as she walked back through the concourse. Not out of fear anymore, but something closer to reverence. Prey species watched her pass with expressions that mixed relief and awe. Commander Vale finally ordered a full debrief. Iris sat across from him in the command chamber, hands folded, posture relaxed. No guards stood behind her. No distrants. No security fields. None were needed. Vale cleared his throat. "Ms. Calder, we need to ask you some questions." Iris smiled politely. "I figured." "What?" Vale began slowly. "Are you?" The room went very still. Iris didn't bristle, didn't deflect. She simply leaned back in her chair and considered the question like someone deciding how much sugar to put in tea. "I'm human," she said. "Vol svalavit." Respectfully, that answer no longer satisfies. A faint flicker crossed Iris's expression, not annoyance, not threat, amusement. "Commander," she said gently, "your species classifies danger by size, teeth, and aggression. Humans learned a long time ago that those metrics don't matter." She tapped the table once. "What matters is who the environment reorganizes itself around." Volstoltapod Shaimet. New reports flooded in. Predator behavioral shifts across the station. Prey species clustering tighter around Iris's known routes. The station AI had quietly restructured priority hierarchies, placing Iris at the center of all crisis response models. Without instruction, without override, Vol started. "You didn't dominate that creature," he said slowly. "You didn't fight it." "No," Iris agreed. "I outranked it." Silence. And she added casually, "If it had refused to submit, I would have removed it. Not a threat, a statement of fact. Vale realized then what frightened him most. Iris hadn't proven dominance today. She'd simply confirmed what the station had already decided. Before we continue, if you're enjoying this kind of HFY sci-fi story where humans quietly redefine power, consider subscribing, leaving a like, and sharing your thoughts in the comments. It really helps the channel grow. And now, back to Helix 47. The first Galactic inquiry arrived 12 minutes after the containment field sealed. Then another. Then 6 more. Helix 47 sensor logs, security footage, and AI priority shift had triggered something unprecedented. Cross-species interest from both predator and prey governments. No alarms. No accusations. Just one shared, unspoken concern. What stopped a Class Omega organism without firing a shot? Commander Vale stood on the bridge, watching Iris Calder walk calmly through the station below. Her presence now caused subtle ripples. Traffic patterns bending around her, patrols unconsciously orienting outward, not toward her, but away, as if she were the center of gravity. A transmission window opened. Station Helix 47, a calm alien voice said. We request clarification regarding the human known as Iris Calder. Vad hesitated. What clarification? He asked. The voice paused, just long enough to be unsettling. Is she unique or representative? Vale felt something cold settle in his chest, because he knew the answer. I don't believe she's unique, he said carefully. I believe she's typical. Silence. Across the station, Iris stopped at a viewport, gazing out at the stars. She sensed the shift, not through instinct but experience. This was the moment where curiosity replaced fear, where observers leaned closer instead of backing away. The dangerous phase, because now, the galaxy wasn't asking how to stop humans. It was asking how many there were. The station AI flagged new projections. If human presence increases, current hierarchies collapse. New stable configuration forms around human coordination. Iris exhaled softly. Yeah, she murmured. That sounds about right. She turned from the viewport. Somewhere far beyond Helix 47, the galaxy had begun to reassess its understanding of dominance. And it was already too late. The second human arrived without ceremony. No warnings, no fanfare, just a routine shuttle docking at Helix 47's civilian ring. Security didn't scramble. Predators didn't posture. The station simply adjusted. Iris felt it before she saw him. A subtle shift, like the air pressure changed direction. She looked up from her console just as the docking announcement chimed. A name scrolled across her datapad. Jonah Reyes, systems engineer, transfer from an inner colony. She smiled. Oh, she said softly. Good. Backup. The predators noticed immediately. Where Iris's presence bent behavior, Jonah's reinforced it. Patrol inconsciencely weekend formation. Security drones repositioned, not to monitor, but to create space. Prey species clustered closer together, relief rippling through them like a shared breath. Commander Vale watched in disbelief as the station AI updated its models again. Human presence, multiple. Effect, amplification, not dilution. This was worse than he'd feared. Jonah stepped onto the concourse and froze. Why is everyone staring? He muttered. Iris walked up beside him, handing over a cup of station coffee. Long story, she said. You'll catch up. The two humans stood together, talking casually, unaware that every apex predator within sight had subconsciously lowered their stance. This wasn't hierarchy anymore. It was pack formation. Predators didn't fear lone apexes. They feared coordination. A message arrived from the Galactic Council. Urgent, encrypted, and unmistakably nervous. Request. Human behavioral limits. Clarify pack threshold. Vale didn't respond, because the station AI had already answered. No observed upper limit. Iris glanced at Jonah. How many more transfers coming in? She asked. Jonah checked his datapad. 3. Over the next few cycles. Iris nodded thoughtfully. Somewhere deep in the station, predators felt their instincts finally give up. Not in panic, and acceptance, because 4 humans wouldn't mean 4 threats. It would mean an ecosystem rewrite. The Galactic Council responded the only way it knew how, with classification. Humans were refiled under controlled apex entities. New engagement protocols were drafted. Observation mandates issued. Helix 47 was quietly flagged as a behavioral anomaly zone. In other words, the galaxy tried to put humans in a box. The Predators approved. Finally, rules. Limits. Something familiar. They began testing boundaries again. Not aggressively. Carefully. Small challenges. Delays. Subtle dominance. Gestures directed not at Iris, but at the space around her. It didn't work, because humans didn't assert dominance that way. Jonah noticed first. "You feel that?" he asked Iris as they walked the ring. "Yeah," she replied. "They're posturing. So what do we do?" Iris considered it. Then she changed nothing. She kept walking, kept working, kept existing exactly as before. And that's when the mistake became obvious. Predators rely on reaction. Humans rely on baseline reality. By refusing to acknowledge the challenge, Iris didn't escalate. She invalidated it. The Predator's instincts had nothing to push against. No feedback loop. No dominance exchange. Their posturing collapsed under its own weight. Prey species noticed immediately. They adjusted again. Titan formation. Trusted the humans more, not less. The station AI logged the outcome. Attempted hierarchy disruption failed. Reason, human non-engagement. Commander Vale finally understood. The galaxy thought humans were apex predators. They were wrong. Humans were environmental constants. You don't fight gravity. You don't intimidate time. And you don't posture at something that doesn't need your recognition to exist. A final council message arrived. Request. Demonstration of human limits. Iris read it once. Deleted it. "They still think this is about power," Jonas said. Iris nodded. "Yeah, and it's not." She glanced toward the docking schedules. 3 more humans inbound. The galaxy hadn't realized its error yet, but it was about to. The remaining humans arrived quietly, one after the other. No fanfare, no warnings, just presence. Each shuttle docking triggered the same subtle, instinctive reconfiguration across the station. By the 5th human, the Predators no longer even attempted minor posturing. They had learned it was pointless. Apex gestures meant nothing. Their instincts, honed over millennia, failed against a species that didn't respond to aggression or hierarchy. Prey species, previously cautious and evasive, now moved freely. Their trust was absolute, centered on the humans, not on weaponry, size, or strength. The station AI updated its protocols in real time, shifting resource allocation, patrol paths, and emergency response plans to orbit around these new constants, the humans. Commander Vale stood at the observation deck, utterly speechless. He tapped his datapad repeatedly, trying to reconcile centuries of galactic doctrine with the reality before him. All the theoretical models, the predator-prey simulations, the apex protocols, they were irrelevant. Helix 47 wasn't just surviving the anomaly, it was thriving because of it. Iris Calder and Jonah Reyes walked side by side, discussing cargo manifests. 2 more humans followed, carrying equipment and unremarkable supplies. Yet the corridor felt like a gravitational well bending all life toward them. Outside, sensors detected new anomalies. Rogue vessels, curious scouts, and wandering apex entities that paused at the station's perimeter. None approached aggressively. Something about Helix 47 and its human inhabitants told them their usual rules no longer applied. Somewhere, far beyond the station, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Models recalculated, protocols revised, entire fleets redirected, all because one species had shown that dominance wasn't declared. It was inherent in presence, consistency, and the subtle gravity of quiet control. Helix 47 had become precedent. It wasn't a station anymore. It was a proof. By the 3rd galactic cycle, Helix 47's anomaly was trending across multiple sectors. Reports arrived from border patrols, research vessels, and ex-colonial governors. Predators standing down, prey species clustering, ships rerouting without orders. Entire star systems began to reconsider what they knew about humans. Every transmission emphasized the same thing. The humans didn't need weapons. They didn't need threats. They didn't escalate. And yet, conflict evaporated wherever they appeared. The galaxy had misclassified humans entirely. Predators who had once conquered worlds now recorded logs of hesitation, disorientation, even awe. Commanders, generals, and strategists across species began to question whether they had ever truly understood what constituted apex intelligence. Meanwhile, Iris Calder and the other humans worked as they always had, coordinating logistics, stabilizing environments, solving problems that threaten life in real time. They didn't announce power. They didn't flaunt it. Their gravity was quiet, unassuming, absolute. Commander Vale's voice came across the comm, almost a whisper. They don't even try. And yet, everything bends to them. He wasn't asking a question. He was stating a truth that everyone in Helix 47 already knew. The humans weren't just apex. They were constants of reality. And the galaxy hadn't prepared for that. Outside the station, fleets hesitated in orbit, scanning, recalculating, wondering whether approaching meant aggression, or merely acknowledgement of an authority they couldn't contest. Helix 47 had become both sanctuary and benchmark, and the galaxy was only beginning to measure the consequences. Months passed. Life aboard Helix 47 settled into a rhythm no one could have predicted. Humans moved among predators and prey alike. Station systems, once designed for chaos management, now ran smoothly around them. Threats that should have caused panic were contained without a shot fired, simply because Iris Calder and her cohort existed at the right place at the right moment, doing what humans always did: solve problems, adapt, and keep moving. Legends began to grow quietly. Stories circulated that humans didn't need dominance, because dominance deferred itself naturally. Observers, whether predator, prey, or bureaucrat, came to understand to challenge humans was meaningless. To ignore them was impossible. Helix 47 was no longer just a station. It was a nucleus, a beacon, a warning, and most importantly, it was proof. A species that refused to fight for apex status could still command the apex of influence, perception, and outcome. Iris walked through the concourse one final time, her companions at her side. Predators didn't bow, they simply gave space. Prey didn't cling, they followed instinctively. Even the AI seemed to defer, routing corridors, power, and attention as though the humans were the station's true axis. She paused at a viewport, gazing at the stars. Quietly, almost to herself, she said, "We didn't conquer them. We just exist. And that's enough." Somewhere across the galaxy, beings recalculated everything they thought they knew. It was too late to stop the shift. Too late to unlearn the lesson Helix 47 had demonstrated. Quiet gravity had rewritten the rules. And humans, as always, were at the center of it. The station continued its hum, predators and prey alike moving in perfect, unspoken orbit. And at the heart of it, Iris Calder smiled faintly, sipping her tea as the galaxy slowly, inevitably bent around her.